Dave, with a couple new additions to the lineup for this one.
Trevor Zegras playing his first game. And just so we can outline the roster, the way it works is you have 23 players total, 20 skaters and 3 goalies. You can roster a player at any time through the tournament. So Landon Slaggert, a young player from the U17s, had been over there with them. But they added Zegras, who'd been injured, and Bobby Brink from the USHL. And the idea being that as teams finish their season, you can add them. And in 2015, the Finns added Sebastian Aho just before the gold medal game. So it goes all the way along. So Slaggert, a young 16-year-old commit to Notre Dame, actually, is with them through the exhibition games. And then when Brink becomes available, he is rostered. So the U.S. is fully rostered now at 23.
Russians did this a little bit too. Yaroslav Lakachov was a late addition to their roster for this tournament as well, but they're all set to go. They've got their 3 goaltenders as well. Right now, the Americans only carrying 2 in Cam Rowe and Spencer Knight, so they can add another goaltender if necessary.
They can, and I talked to John Robleski about that situation, and he didn't want to take a goaltender from a team that was active right now, wherever that may be, the U17s or wherever, unless it was necessary.
Right up the middle, this one smothered by Askarov. The Americans would have a couple options, perhaps the most likely being Dustin Wolf of the Everett Silvertips in the Western Hockey League, but they're happy right now with Spencer Knight and Cam Rowe, no doubt about it.
Certainly. John Robleski, the head coach, his second time around with this team. He won a gold medal 2 years ago. He actually played for me at the University of Notre Dame. He was a graduate of this program and has worked through as an assistant coach of the program as well.
Face-off, the U.S. control it. The face-off dot. Matthew Boldy settles it. Looks for an option. It's Alex Turcotte. He's in there behind the net. Moves it back around to the near side. Pushed back by Vlasic to the point. Flung just wide. Mirov sends it out to center. Russia break in. They'll drop it back on the far side. Nice move toward the bottom of the face-off circle, but no shot. And it comes back down the ice to Matthew Boldy. Zips this one right across the blue line, taken in by Ilya Nikolaev.
Nikolaev with a slick little move coming in off the left wing there. A little toe drag through the D and unable to get a shot.
Now down the ice with some speed is John Beecher. Sends that one in off the blocker of Askarov, and it bounces back out to center. Americans had to be careful there. They were changing. Taken back in neutral territory by Russia. They break in. Out of the far side, moved up the middle. Sheshin has his shot stifled. Sean Farrell up the ice. Now on the wing, John Beecher again to the net. Another blocker stop by Askarov as it comes back to the point. Given back to Beecher, but it's off his skate, tripped over it a little bit, and the Russians send this one right into the American bench.
Beecher had a real strong game the first night out with a goal and assist. He's Michigan bound to play for the Wolverines and had a real nice start. See a big collision by Patrick Moynihan there. And I'd mistakenly said that Matthew Beniers was on his way to Harvard. He is in fact uncommitted. And our paperwork had shown that he had a Harvard beside his name, but he is in fact uncommitted at this point. And he is a 2021 draft. So a late birth date and 2 years away from the NHL draft.
So he'll be eligible for this tournament again next year. Here's a chance developing for Russia down the ice. It's Maxim Groshev to the backhand, and that's handled and hung on to by Spencer Knight.
Groshev with the best 5-on-5 chance for the Russians to date. A little pop out off the face-off and protecting the puck, staying on his backhand as he's pursued from the weak side. And that's really the first really strong chance the Russians have had 5-on-5. They relied on 2 power play goals early, 2 for 2 on their power play.
Groshev, who plays with Nizhnekamsk in the MHL, same junior hockey team in Russia as Nail Yakupov. As it's sent out to center and swatted in by Patrick Moynihan. All the way down the ice. Now with some space on the wing. A shot in on Knights, and that's handled with the glove. And a bold move to keep it moving.
Very casual. Keep this game going, says Spencer Knight.
Shot in from center ice. Knight out of his net. Stops it under some pressure, but again, casually moves it over. Nothing wrong there.
He is poised.
Now on the backhand. Off the boards, fielded by Marshall Warren. Passes across to his pairing partner, given back to the near side. Sent around. Chistakov, lengthy pass down the ice, poked out of the reach, though, of the Russian forward by Dominic Fensori. Now Jack Hughes sidesteps one over the blue line on the wing. Hughes fans on a shot. A loose puck creeps through the slot. Flipped out to center by Grutziuk.
A little indication of Jack Hughes' skill there on the little stop and hesitation move right at the blue line.
Now Jack Hughes turns around, finds Fensori at the blue line, fumbled it a bit, so had to retreat to neutral territory to get onside.
7 defensemen dressed, and Fensori had been the 7th in the first game, but played a lot in the second game against the Slovaks, and very impressive in the way he's been rushing the puck.
Diminutive defenseman, just 5'7", but he can motor.
Such a place for that player in the game today.
Now off the boards, comes around to McCarthy behind the net. Shoots it off the glass. This one's knocked down by Russia. Shot trickles well wide. Off the glass again. Now Matthew Boldy defers to Hughes. Hughes swings in behind the net, out to the far side. Tried to curl it back in front. Took a bump from his own teammate. And now down the ice comes Russia, and a shot off the wing from Daniil Gushin. He's fought off by Knight. Back down the other way comes Bobby Brink. Tried to drag it around the defenseman Rogov. Now he's tied up. Rogov gets it away, tries to chase it down on the near side. Brink looks to center again. Pushed ahead by Gushin. He's nothing of. Underage forward for Russia. 1 goal at the under-17s with Russia this year. Finds Gushin. Sheshin sets up in front, but the Americans strip the puck away.
Definitely a little more pace now to this game, Victor. This is picked up. And the Russians started it by stretching the ice. A couple of long stretch passes, so they've made an adjustment, and they've picked up the pace of their 5-on-5 game.
Burinov finesses that one down low. Taken in by Judd Caulfield. Lobbed to center. Settled down by Burinov again. Russia cough it up at the blue line. Given right back, though. Now John Beecher. Slowly over the blue line, sends one toward the net. Easily steered aside by Askarov. Now rushing down the ice is Maxim Groshev. Groshev to the backhand. Hands it off on the wing. Shot for the far side, missed. Into the corner it goes. Koschenko looking for it. Yaroslav Likachev, but it comes all the way down the ice again for Pichnikov on Russia. Another stretch pass finds Yaroslav Likachev, who plays for Gatineau in the QMJHL. Now the Americans break back in. Owen Lindmark to the net. That's stopped by Askarov. Lindmark zips it again to the near side. Patrick Moynihan looking back for Lindmark. That pass was deflected. Gets it back to the blue line for Dominic Fensori. Finds Marshall Warren. Warren on the backhand, and that one's picked up by the glove of Askarov. Some pressure from the U.S., but no goals to be found so far in the second. Tied at 2 between Russia and the USA in the third game of the preliminary stage for each of these teams at the World Under-18s. And it was the Russians who jumped out in front 2-0. America stormed back with a power play goal from Jack Hughes, and Alex Turcotte added another. And this is iced by the Americans, who now have the shot advantage as well, 18-11.
And a much better start to this second period. I think for both teams, it's a better hockey period. Feeling out process in the first period. When you start with 4 power plays in the first handful of minutes, it takes a lot of guys out of sequence. Saw a real good shift by the Beecher line. The Lindmark line has been good.
Out of the corner, this one. It was slinged all the way down the ice by the Americans. They ice it again.
And of course, as tournaments build and reputations build, Jack Hughes and Cole Caulfield getting a little more attention the new line mate today, Trevor Zegras. You know, now you're a week into a tournament, so these kids have watched each other play, and the reputations that they come in with continue to build. First-hand experience with the number of points those two have had in their first 2 games. Cole Caulfield, 7 goals in his first 2 games.
USA on the breakout, and a shot is ripped high of the net. The big first line out there, that was Cole Caulfield with a shot. Trevor Zegras joins him with Jack Hughes. Zegras tries to center. That's Alex Turcotte out there. Bit of a new look now for the United States with Dominic Fensori and Marshall Warren on the point as well. Now Fensori passes to the far side point man Warren. His pass up the middle, deflected off a Russian stick. Taken back in by the Russian Spiridonov over the blue line. Takes a shot. Move back out off the boards to center. Turcotte couldn't gather it. Lost it as Rogov back through the neutral zone. Warren, bit of a dangerous pass there, but he found the mark, Fensori. Now Bobby Brink drops it back. Matthew Boldy couldn't get the pass through. He'll chase it down behind the net. Taken back in though by Alex Turcotte. Move back over to Cam York on the near side. Back across, a shot. Deflects off a body. And the glass is well settled back down by Bobby Brink. From Minnetonka, Minnesota. York sails his shot wide as well. Vasily Podkolzin back down the ice. Cam York takes a bump, separated from the puck by Dmitry Sheshin. Who's nothing off behind the net. Tries to toss it out in front. Fighting off York, finds Sheshin. To the blue line for Rogov. Back to Sheshin on the wing. To the corner he goes. York gently ahead. And Boldy sends it down the ice looking for Beecher. He'll be the first to it. Kapitchnikov is there too for Russia. He'll watch him. Beecher from behind the net. Centers out in front, and the shot is sent high as well. Not incoming from Marshall Warren, a defenseman who likes to move around the ice. Drew Hellison now drops it for Alex Vlasic. He'll stop behind the net, watched by Lukashov. And it's iced again by the United States.
Big long body of Alex Vlasic, but Matthew Boldy on that last shift. 3 really good defensive plays rather. One deep in the corner, one on a little bit of a back pressure play from the point, and then one along the boards. And he's shown his offensive prowess headed to Boston College, but 3 good flashes of his defensive awareness there as well.
Now Vlasic off the boards, right back to center. Chistakov reels it in. Russia won gold at a 5 Nations tournament back in February. Chistakov was the top defenseman in that tournament and the highest rated defenseman on this under-18 roster ahead of the NHL draft. Vlasic over to Hellison, who's under some pressure here from the Russian forecheck in the corner. Turns it over, but gets it right back. Now Hellison up to center. We'll just leave it there. Sean Farrell back to the far side off the boards. Trickles around. Comes to Burnoff.
That's good help by Owen Lindmark down low. He sees Drew Hellison, a little bit of pressure against him, and gets in to help him low. And nothing better than a centerman who can come back and help out your defenders.
Puck bouncing around now by the face-off dot. Farrell's hauled down to the blue line, and this is going to be a penalty against Russia. So USA to the power play in just a moment, looking to break this game open. USA 1 for 2 on the power play in this contest against Russia. Jack Hughes with the power play marker back in the first, made it a 2-1 game, and now the Americans will set up for a man advantage once again as Cam York has to go back here in a hurry. Dmitry Sheshin's on it on the wing, and his shot is sealed off by Spencer Knight.
Memories fresh of 2 shorthanded goals by the Slovakian squad on the same penalty.
This one's deflected off his stick. See where this face-off comes to with 1:40 to go on USA's power play.
We'll see which one of the 2 power play setups they employ. Look for where number 13 is on the ice. If he's in the middle of the ice, he's a short one-time option for Jack Hughes on the half boards. If he flares out to the far side, they've dropped Hughes down low and they've moved Zegras over to his offside. So watch for where 13 sets up on this power play.
Saw a quick look there at Team Sweden, the host nation. They'll see Russia in just a few days as well, as a shot from Caulfield misses on the near side. He let the one-timer go, and now the Russians have a potential 2-on-1. Here they come. On the far side, a shot is stopped. That was from Vasily Podkolzin. Now Zegras breaks in, drops it back. Turning around is Jack Hughes.
So the first setup was Caulfield out wide. That's where he's staying now. So that'll put Zegras on the flank.
Sharp angle shot from Hughes, and it's whipped down the ice by Russia.
So many options offensively, but only one defenseman, Cam York, out there, so a lot of pressure on him to handle 2-on-1s as he had to on that last play.
Again, the Slovaks scored 2 shorthanded against the Americans, and Podkolzin nearly got through with another.
Matthew Boldy had been on this first unit till Trevor Zegras was activated earlier, so he's a force on this second unit now.
Now Michael Gilden, Ohio State commit, passes across. Up high it comes for Dominic Fensori. Hands off again, working in across. Boldy scores! Another power play marker for the United States. It's Matthew Boldy who finishes it off, and they lead for the first time in this game.
And a terrific look from the top. Dominic Fensori starts it over to newly added Bobby Brink. And watch the fake shot. A little pull in there, Bobby Brink, and slides it across to an ever-ready Matthew Boldy. And the little one-touch forehand. What a great look. Think about Bobby Brink joining that group. Think about the time change. Think about coming over, throwing the gear on, and playing. I was very surprised to see him in the lineup today because he was just added to the group, but showing his offensive abilities there. And Craig Button, our director of scouting, very high in the skill level. He sent me a note early this morning from his station in northern Sweden to let us know that Brink had been added. The skill level he brought in the Sioux City Musketeers, and doesn't play in the program during the season, but the skill lets him be added at this point in the tournament, and a big offensive addition.
USA right back. Here under pressure as a whistle's blown. Bobby Brink, the only player from the USHL on this United States roster. The Russians have one as well. And Danil Gushin.
Good awareness by the young referee. I like this. The shot went up. And caught Askarov in the mask. And so totally unsolicited, the young referee sees this play, and because there's not a danger to score right around the net, he blows the whistle and gives the young goaltender a little breather and a chance to take the mask off and shake his head. I really like that play by the young referee.
Well, the puck is iced here by Russia, so we'll come back the other way.
Good awareness, good smarts, you know, it really is.
Yeah, just to add on the point there about Bobby Brink, rarely do we see the Americans add anybody that's not from the USNTDP program for this tournament.
Well, they come up and they build this team for this tournament, literally. They've lived together for 2 years in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They've played together. They'll add from the younger team from time to time. A player like Matthew Beniers plays on the younger team in the program, but it is unusual for them to go outside the program, and Brink is that kind of talent. Of course, this team plays in the USHL during the season. That's their regular league, the National Development Program. But Brink, a Sioux City Musketeer, and what a great stand-up hit that is right there at the blue line.
The Hlinka Gretzky is typically where we see players from the United States, from the OHL, USHL gather. It's a completely different roster for that tournament as another whistle's blown here.
Very much so. Now, if you look at Canada and the U.S., Canada builds their 18 program for the Hlinka because everyone's available. Obviously, everyone's not available for this tournament in Canada because they're in their respective playoffs throughout the country in the CHL, the Ontario Hockey League, or the Quebec Hockey League, or the Western Hockey League. So two different philosophies in building programs. Canada really gears for the Hlinka, which is in August. The U.S. program clearly builds for the under-18 World Championship, which falls right now in April.
Now pass off on the wing. Shot doesn't get through. Alex Turcotte spins it back out in front for Matthew Boldy, who was right there. Bobby Brink out there as well to comprise this unit of forwards. Matthew Boldy throws on the brakes, tosses across. Turcotte in behind, centers back out front. That's stopped and settled back down by Chistakov.
Clearly Boldy and Brink are building a little bit of a chemistry here. They found each other on the goal, and Boldy just found Brink down low in a little seam pass.
Now Jack Hughes turns it back around, touched up the middle, and a nice diving effort in the Russian defense to knock it away. And for all his efforts, Chistakov takes a shot right off the leg. Now a shot from York. That's stopped by the blocker of Askarov. He lost it for a minute, and a quick turnaround shot was turned away as well. Now York passes back across, takes it right back, hands off to Cole Caulfield on the wing to the net. His shot sails high of the mark.
Wow, does he find his shot.
Now York back to Caulfield. He kicks it over to Jack Hughes, but he's stripped of the puck. Chipped off the boards, back down the ice quickly. USA come back over the blue line. Jack Hughes turns it around for York. Gives it back to Hughes. Behind his back to the far side. Zegras back to Hughes, down low, cuts in front, loose. Zegras picks it up now. Circles the net, looks to pass off, it's blocked. Hughes is tied up. Diego Spiridonov, now they finally get free. Spiridonov tries to shovel it out. And this puck eventually ends up into the USA bench, so Russia catch a bit of a break there, but United States leading 3-2. So USA goals from Jack Hughes, Alex Turcotte, and now Matthew Boldy have them out in front, 3-2. After trailing 2-0 to Russia early on in the first period, back underway in the second, under 5 minutes to go. And out from the front of the net, Russia take it right back. Kuznetsov sent it in behind. Ilgushin, underage forward from the USHL. He plays here with Muskegon. Now Beniers passes off to Moynihan, who takes a bump. That knocked him clean off his feet. Owen Lindmark got it to Beniers. Up high for Fensori. Takes it right back from Drew Hellison. Fensori to the net. That's deflected by Owen Lindmark. Beniers takes it again on the far side. Sets it up for Hellison with a shot. Looking for a deflection there. Back to Fensori at the point. Walks to the middle. Looks for a lane. That's blocked by Gushin. Now he'll control it over the center ice line by himself, though. The Russians are changing.
That Boldy goal has really taken something out of the Russians because they were coming 5-on-5 in their play, starting to get some zone time.
Now up the middle, Turcotte passes off. Was looking for Bobby Brink. Puck flies up into the air, and this one is lofted back down the ice by Russia, and that'll be icing as Case McCarthy was just ahead of Likachov.
Really good effort by McCarthy to beat the player back up the ice there. Had a little bit of a jump on him. It's a big hit there on Patrick Moynihan, and he's not shy at all in terms of his contact. I love a guy taking a big hit like that and just jumping right back up and getting back in the play. Doesn't faze him at all. He's used to contact. Young man heading to Providence.
From the same hometown as Matthew Boldy.
Millis, Massachusetts.
A lot of Boston representation. 4 college commits, Boston College commits, and 4 Boston University commits as well on this team. As a shot doesn't get through from Alex Vlasic. Now McCarthy. It's for Vlasic again. He knocks it down. Vlasic from just outside Chicago, Illinois, sends a shot in on Askarov, who hangs on.
He'll be keeping track of the San Jose Sharks. Mark Edward Vlasic, a cousin. Their battles against Vegas Knights right now in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Vlasic, of course, representing Team Canada and a great Olympic defenseman.
And Alex, the Boston University commit.
That's a big, long guy back there, 6'7" at 17 years of age. Wait till that body grows into itself.
Now Vlasic shuffles over to Caulfield on the opposite end of the size spectrum, but effective just the same as Jack Hughes to the far side. Tees it up. McCarthy with a shot, and that one took a bite out of Vasily Podkolzin in front, as he's had a bit of a quiet game in this one, despite being the best player on paper for Russia coming into this tournament.
Yeah, Craig Button, our director of scouting and resident general manager, has him at number 2 behind Jack Hughes in the draft. At worst, number 3. Highly skilled player. I love the fact the great game of hockey can have a 6'7" first-round prospect and a 5'7" first-round prospect. That's so great about our game.
Jack Hughes will lead in for the face-off. One back by Russia. Vashenko up to center. Knocked down by Spiridonov, and he chops it in past Vlasic. Now down the wing. Here come the USA again. Centered out for Hughes by Zegras. Zegras again on the near side boards. Chinikov working on him. Comes back to Vlasic. He's shot through traffic. Just goes past the net. Lifted back down the ice again by Russia, who decide to ice it with the pressure in their own zone.
This is the first time we've seen Trevor Zegras in this tournament. A little short side pass out, and a pass that's very popular on the international ice because of how much space there is behind the net. So as you start behind the net, you come back out the side you've just left as the goalie starts to move across, and that's what Zegras tried right there with Jack Hughes, who was fully expecting it. Missed on the short side.
So we'll go to the blocker side of Askarov, the Russian netminder. Face-off won by the United States, and a quick shot is knocked down by the Russian goaltender, and he hangs on. Askarov not eligible until the 2020 NHL draft, but expected to be one of the best, if not the best, goaltender available.
Big left-hander in play, and many people feel he's the best one to come across since Vasilevsky was taken in the first round by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Askarov, an underage netminder. Rarely do they get starts in this tournament. The other is Evelyn Skotnikov for Russia. He started the opener against Slovakia. Russians actually have the top-ranked European goaltender ahead of this year's draft, but he's 19 years old, so not eligible for this tournament. Is in over the blue line. Jumping past the hit was Marshall Warren. Over to the far side it goes. Henry Thrun lays it down low. Comes back up high to Thrun. From the point, that's kicked out by Askarov. Lingered around there for a moment. But Russia will bang it off the glass and out to center. Stripped away by Warren, who makes a nice play and tries to feed it through for Sean Farrell. Now John Beecher tied up. Farrell's in the corner too as we enter the final minute in the second period. Brought back to the blue line for Cam York. York in on the wing, takes a shot, and he misses on the short side. Back over to the far side. Turcotte in the corner. Comes back out. Plays it up high for Hughes. York on the wing now. Angles it off the boards to Turcotte. Cole Caulfield sets up in front as well for the States as John Hughes centers, scores! Cole Caulfield, it was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
Where's he been all game?
4-2 for the USA.
What a setup by Cole Caulfield. Great patience, and the U.S. has finished periods very, very strongly. I feel in the first game, the finish of their second period won that game for them. Great puck control. Turcotte, little drop pass to Jack Hughes as he attacks. And on the backhand, it's Cole Caulfield's ability to find that space in the slot area. Just a little step away, right on his take, no hesitation, and the release up over the short side of Askarov. An enormous goal for the U.S. team. You feel like that's a slump for Cole Caulfield when he doesn't score for a period and a half.
Well, the question wasn't really if Caulfield scores in this game, but rather how many.
Number 8 in the tournament, one away from the all-time leading goal scorer in the tournament for the U.S. team, none other than one Phil Kessel.
And Brett Sterling as well tied atop.
That's right, Brett Sterling, a great goal scorer out of California. With
that goal, Caulfield ties Austin Matthews for second most in a single tournament as a penalty here upcoming for hooking. Coach Vladimir Filatov calling the referee over, but this will be an American penalty.
Looked like he was coming over the boards there, didn't he? Filatov.
So Owen Lindmark gets the penalty. And 2 players there involved on that play. Is maybe a chance now for Russia to get back in, and a diving effort to keep it in for Burinov. But the United States will skate this one out as Hughes goes into the corner. Whistle blows as the period comes to an end.
And another real strong finish by the U.S. team. That late Cole Caulfield goal, reminiscent of the late goal that Cole Caulfield scored on a set face-off play on the power play at the end of the second period in the Slovakian game. And I think there may be still 1 tick left on the clock. They are putting 0.3 of 1 second on the clock. Matthew Boldy, little smile for his Russian foe there.
Semyon Chistikov with a bit of a late bump.
But that's a real strong finish for the American team. Once again, finish periods, 20 minutes, the length of the period. Play the last minute like you play the first period, like you play everyone in between.
A couple words there, exchanged late. Vili Nikolaev on the face-off. But the USA, they're looking good. They were down 2-0, but they've scored 4 unanswered. A couple more in the second period. Have them out in front by a score.